we do talk to all shareholders, and they're important to us, and Wellington is as well. We disagree with them. I believe this is the best deal for us. We have looked at the acquisition of Celgene, and we are acquiring a number of promising molecules in the pipeline. As I said, we will be launching potentially 5 in the next 2 years, but there is more than 20 in phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials. This is the best deal for Bristol Myers Squibb.
That was a sneak peek of the Bristol Myers Squibb CEO defending its $74 billion Celgene merger. He will appear on Mad Money tonight. You can catch the full interview right here on CNBC at the top of the hour. Celgene hanging tough today as the rest of the biotech space takes a beating. The XBI having its worst day since late December. This comes as M&A in the healthcare space has been heating up. Biogen announcing Monday it would buy gene therapy company Nightstar for more than $800 million, a deal our next guest predicted last week.
I think the ones that are most fully integrated and probably most amenable with the whole host of manufacturing and technology in their pipeline probably are the BioMarins, the Bluebirds, even Sarepta, SRPT, and then some of the smaller ones that probably will never be a standalone if they get the drug approved include Nightstar, NITE, and even Axovant Gene Therapies, AXGT.
So what other deals could be coming down the pipe? Let's bring in Michael Yee, Managing Director and Equities Analyst here with Jefferies. Michael, great to have you here on set.
Great to be here, guys. Thanks.
It was like you had a crystal ball. So we want you to look into it once again and tell us who's on your radar in terms of being acquired and who's on your radar in terms of acquiring.
Sure. In the space to be acquired, I'll reiterate, I think that Sarepta, SRPT, and Sage got a big phase 3 depression drug. Both of those companies would fit right into pharma very well. And in the mid-cap space, Insight and Seattle Genetics, 2 other big cancer companies I think could be acquired.
All right. In terms of the Celgene and Bristol Myers Squibb deal, does that go through?
We are firmly on the page. We think that deal goes through. There's about a 20% spread. I think a lot of that's going to close after April 12th on the shareholder vote. I think there's a big move on Celgene to the upside.
What's with biotech recently in terms of its underperformance, and how much is the resignation of Scott Gottlieb from the FDA? How much is that a concern here, an overhang?
Yeah, look, I think a lot of the government rhetoric, a lot of political rhetoric that's going on out there, a lot of concerns about drug pricing has been a problem for the large biotech stocks. I think you look at the Gileads, Amgens, they've done nothing literally for 12 months. It's been tough out there. Scott Gottlieb resigning has not been a good sign for mid-cap biotech. Most drug approvals in history in biotech last year under Scott Gottlieb. Most FDA guidance documents, he's been a big proponent of gene therapy companies, 2 of which just got bought. With him stepping down, I think there's a little bit of worry, but hope to get someone back in there pretty quick.
So, Michael, not everyone has a crystal ball the way you've exhibited having one, and even savvy investors can't pick the binary outcomes that you see on a day-to-day basis. Are you better off just buying the IBB or the XBI, where you get those large caps in the IBB and you get the playoff of them? You give up some of that percentage, but you're still not hurt.
Look, I think the average investor should be looking at the IBB and the XBI, particularly the XBI, which is more levered to the small and mid-cap companies, which have been the ones that are getting acquired. You get a lot more levered play off the XBI. XBI is 15-20% off the highs of last fall. I think we retest that back over the next 6 months. I think there'll be more M&A. I think the XBI moves higher.
So speaking of the IBB, so the top components of that are some of the names you've mentioned, some of these massive companies that have done nothing. People have been waiting for Gilead, after their CAR-T acquisition. What's in the pipeline, or what's in the crystal ball for some of those mega cap biotechs that need to do something because of their pipeline?
2. One, obviously, is Vertex. We like Vertex a lot. They have one of the biggest drugs in all of biopharmaceuticals. Drug should get approved. The triple cystic fibrosis drug should get approved next year. Revenue's going from $2 billion to $7 billion. I think Vertex goes higher. It's the biggest growth story in biotech. And obviously the other one is Biogen. They have the most promising Alzheimer's drug in phase 3. Data reads out early 2020. If that's positive, sector's going to be on fire.
Mike, a lot of these stocks are still down meaningfully from the Hillary tweet in summer of 2015. How big of a risk is the climate in D.C. right now to some of those names?
Well, ironically, I think that while it's been a political overhang, I think that's been a big problem for the large biotech ones where people, it's in focus, are getting pulled up to Capitol Hill to talk about things. It's been a tough one. I think what we're going to see is more rhetoric, particularly as you go into the 2020 election. I think that's a problem for the large ones to a degree, unless Alzheimer's works. And that's why we stay focused on some of those small and mid-cap ones that are getting acquired. a lot of innovation, and the takeout thesis is there.
In as much, though, as large cap biotechs or large cap pharma companies like a Bristol Myers might be the acquirers, and I know you don't cover them, could that dampen M&A activity or make it more difficult to get these deals through?
That's a good question. Obviously, with Bristol doing the Celgene deal, I don't think both Celgene or Bristol is going to be doing any deals soon. But look, there's a whole host of companies, whether that's Amgen's got to do a deal, Gilead's got a new CEO, just came in last week from Roche. He's going to come in and probably do some deals at Gilead. You still got a whole host of companies. Novartis out there just did plenty of companies still out there. I think the numbers are we just did $15–20 billion of M&A, excluding Celgene, just in the last 4 months. Still a lot to go. Plenty of cash.
Michael, great to see you. Thank you.
Guys.
Michael Yee of Jefferies. Would you rather chart edition, IBB or XBI, Chris?
XBI, there's good support near 82, 83. They took the chart down from 90 to 86. Maybe a little bit more to go, but I'm a buyer here.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your risk tolerance is, because obviously the IBB leans towards those mega cap companies. So if you want a little more security, you're going to get a lot less swings from an IBB. So if you don't have the risk tolerance, go IBB. If you're looking for that beta, go with the XBI.
But has been discussed. I mean, today's trading was so poor that these guys both traded through the 200-day. And if you're of concern, I don't think tomorrow's the day you go and you buy these things, based upon the breakdown technically.
Yeah, I actually thought XBI was the one to do. I thought we'd have a breakout. Based on today's trading, it looks like it's a false breakout. So I have to wait a bit and see how this is going to shake out. I don't think you need to go running into them right now.
You asked a question about the tweet and the political wins. How concerned are we as traders?
Yeah.
Should a trader be when it comes to some of these stocks?
Bipartisan. This is the only problem I have with this one is when you say Medicare for all, it's not a bipartisan issue. It's not going to be pushed, but you can get an equal amount of Republicans as you can as Democrats to push again. Who would be a proponent of high drug pricing? Nobody on Capitol Hill.
And Stephen, I think Michael, when he says you don't want to own the ones whose CEOs are in front of Congress, that's telling. When you look down the cap scale, I think he mentioned Insight. Insight's a great chart. Stock, they took it from 150 to 60. It's been basing for 12 months. It's getting better. I think that's a good small cap one here.